Mommy Doomsday, aka Lori Vallow. After a very tolling 5 years, Lori Vallow has decided to share her lies. Scratch that. She wants to share her story. Who was the chosen one to interview this convicted murderer of two of her own children? Her lover's wife, Tammy Daybell? Well, no other than Kieth Morrison, America's voice when it comes to true crime storytelling. Welcome to Chasing a Murder. Don't forget, push that subscribe button, share your thoughts, and share if you could. Lori Vallow is back in her hometown in Arizona being accused of some very serious crimes. Those serious crimes entail murder. Are you shocked? She had already been convicted for 3 other murders. She can't spend her time in prison in Idaho until she's gone to trial because she's been extradited to Arizona to face the conspiracy charges for murdering her then at the time third husband Charles Vallow and the attempted murder of her nephew-in-law Brandon Boudreaux. Lori was wondering why this story was so captivating. Well, I don't think anyone has ever seen a mother so blatantly evil and lie to police and public with concern about the welfare of her children, JJ and Tylee Ryan. They were shocked to see someone be able to lie so openly and to take the lives of so many people and show no signs whatsoever of remorse. If Lori Vallow Daybell had not been arrested, I feel there would have been an endless amount of lives, especially with them saying that they were on a mission to rid the world of zombies. In an interview with Kieth Morrison, that was his job to try to coax that out of her, but I think he's going to find out something he wasn't too much expecting when you speak to a woman that believes that her ideas center the universe. Who was truly in charge with all these evil killings, like of Charles Vallow, the one man that tried to help Lori, her third husband, and a man that loved her and her children more than anything. Then you have Brandon Boudreaux. Who is that? Well, that's Lori Vallow's nephew-in-law. He was married to a name that you'll know or find familiar in this story, which is Melanie Boudreaux. They targeted him, tried to destroy his life like Lori had done with Joe Ryan and Charles Vallow by saying he was gay, that he was the one cheating on Melanie, he was the bad guy in this, and that Melanie was the innocent victim. But one day, Brandon Boudreaux was driving up to his house after going to the gym, and he was shot at. Thank God they missed. Dateline was given 90 minutes to interview Lori, which is a big deal. As she walked down the hallway towards the interview room, Dateline was setting up their cameras. I wonder what Kieth Morrison was thinking as Lori shuffled her way down the hallway in her ankle cuffs for his once-in-a-lifetime interview. So interesting. She shuffled down the hallway towards the door and rounds the corner. You didn't see a woman with remorse or sorrow. You seen a woman that was smiling, confident, pulling back her curtains, and ready to face the lights. Kieth Morrison, like us, have been following this case for 5 years, but would he be ready for whatever she would throw at him? He knows she has a plan. Would he be able to steer her the way he wanted her? Or was he in for a ride? So Kieth Morrison, it seemed that for him, the most important question was to get her to answer why her children were dead. But before I saw this interview, I had a feeling that Kieth might learn that she isn't as easy to lead or influence or direct. He's about to learn if Chad Daybell was the boss or Lori Vallow was the boss Lori's the type of girl that is the only one writing the words to her book. No one can get past her walls. I would have loved to have this opportunity to speak with and interview Lori. Lori is short-tempered, direct, rock solid in whatever she believes, and Kieth would find out real quick. His hands are going to be full. I think most of us noticed that Kieth was aware that she would have an agenda. I think his goal was to prevent as many lies as possible, but what he didn't realize is that if you cut out the lies and agendas, well, you're not left with 90 minutes. I think he was lucky to get 10 to 15 minutes to play on air. I don't think Kieth is the type of guy that wants to allow her to drag those victims, well, that are already dead, through the mud. As the interview began, I think he was finding out that how draining it was to deal with Lori and just how evil she could be. So the interview started with Lori walking into that interview room.
Now, the first television interview ever.
I'm asking you a question. Did you want your children died?
That's a really sad question.
You did not kill a soul.
Absolutely not. What proof and evidence is there? All these rumors.
Would he be able to get the answers? Would he be able to control the direction and the narrative of this interview? I don't know. But he will learn just how tough it is to control her.
So combative is how she was going to be. And she made the decision to meet me for an on-camera interview because she had been telling us she wanted to tell the truth.
It's not fun when so many things are not true.
Well, we'll get to that, won't we?
Lori had told Kieth that she had even seen Jesus Christ in her jail cell. Believe it or not, Christ has a great sense of humor.
He has a great sense of humor, and he's super, super funny.
To tell tales you know just can't be true.
You're asking me personally, the only person on the earth who really knows, and you're shaking your head no, like that didn't happen.
It was clear Kieth was dealing with very different personalities, anger issues, and then this, what seemed to be real love pouring from her heart. In a split second, she could go from loving you to hating you.
You're asking me personally, the only person on the earth who really knows, and you're shaking your head no, like that didn't happen.
Look into her eyes here. Can you see the extreme evil and hate? She can switch from evil to happy, from happy to evil in seconds. Very scary, very dangerous. This whole interview was based off of horrible attitudes, sarcasm, blame, victimhood, and delusions. If looks could kill, she would have zapped him. There was only one person that she claimed to have loved, and that was Chad Daybell, and they had loved each other for eternities.
I've loved him for eternities.
Eternity.
For those of you that are new to this case, Lori was visited by the angel Moroni before she met Chad Daybell. She's had an interest in past lives. A lot of it come from Julie Rowe. According to witnesses, Chad had lived on 31 planets. As for Lori, 21. There are multiple spirit planets, multiple human and other species of planets. But they claim to have lived on Earth 5 times each.
And, said you're a goddess and you've lived for, since the beginning of time. And
Who
so
said
is he.
that Chad said that? Are you saying that Chad said that?
No,
Did you hear Chad
I'm
say that
just
to
trying
me?
to-
I've heard a lot of stuff, Kieth, and
But
I'm here
what-
to say you've heard a lot of stuff,
What?
but what I tell you will be the truth.
Well, will it be? Was it ever?
His spirit is no longer on this earth. It is in the spirit world. And there was this character named Ned Snyder, and now he was possessing Charles's physical body.
So what, he'd become a demon or something? Or
I guess you could call it that. They later phrased it as a zombie, but in the beginning they just said Ned.
When Lori met Chad, she said the veil was open once again.
What was that like?
That was amazing.
Tell me about it.
It was amazing because the veil was once again opened and we remembered each other.
That, said Lori to Melanie, is how she knew she and Chad had met in past lives. Lots of times.
My body.
But now, maybe Lori would finally recognize a more normal reality.
I mean, it's unlike anything earthly once you're out of your body.
No.
I recognized him spiritually. He recognized me spiritually, that we had known each other for eternities. I have lots of stories to tell you.
Sure. Which one is the real Lori? Charles Vallow worried about her sanity. Her trial for the murders of JJ, Tylee, and Tammy was delayed for months while she was treated for religious delusions. Now, in Arizona, she's her own lawyer. Does Jesus visit you often here?
Jesus visits all of us. He's a very good friend of mine. He loves everybody. I'm just his favorite.
You're his favorite?
No, I'm just teasing. It was a joke. Can I joke with you, Kieth? Can we joke?
Yes, of course you
That's
can.
my bumper sticker. I said, if I ever had a bumper sticker, it would say, Jesus loves you, but I'm his favorite.
Is that true? Is she joking? Well, she's already admitted that she's the chosen one. She's the one that God has come to be one of his elite messengers for his second coming. She had even been visited by Moroni, just like Joseph Smith, the founder of Mormonism. According to your comments, you believe that Lori Vallow truly believes that she's God sent for everybody here on this earth. Kieth's agenda seemed to be that he was concerned about her mental status. He will bring that up multiple times, and the fact that she is representing herself as an attorney. And when is it that the justice system really takes into play a person's mental status, especially when it comes to murder? Do you think Kieth felt sorry for Lori? It wasn't long and media would play the narrative that Chad Daybell was the leader and that he was the one she was following. But my research says that, yeah, she liked to follow that, but once she got there, she took it over.
Was this the real Lori? Or is she playing a character?
A lot, okay?
And playing me too, or trying to.
Okay.
The characters in this drama were settling into their roles. Chad Daybell was the prophet, the leader of the group, the man one investigator described as an unattractive, unsuccessful author, transformed into the keeper of the gates of heaven, foretelling the imminent end of the world, and dictating with the wave of his hand the worthy and the damned.
What people need to remember is who was in this group. Was it Chad's friends? Was it Alice Gilbert? Was it his family? Matt Daybell? His mom? The people within this group were people that were closest to Lori. And they did most of their dealings with Lori and not Chad. Chad often gave them blessings, but that's about it. So far, we weren't finding out much in this interview. And you have to wonder, what is the deal with that? And I have to say that I believe that Kieth did get something, probably not much, but didn't want to share it, didn't want her to feel like she had control of the interview. And again, not to allow her to drag the victims through the mud or to hurt people that have been hurting 5 years already. What you did learn was how cocky she really is, and if she's free to talk, her demeanor is much different than what you see in the courtroom. If you don't agree with her, well, she isn't going to stand for it. I don't know about you guys, but I was looking for some kind of sign that she actually believed in a lot of the stuff that she was spewing. But I did notice that perhaps there was a few diagnoses that mental evaluators might have overlooked. I seen different personalities in her. We saw a lot of aggression in her in which she loved to hide. And if you think back to the interview when Charles Vallow took her purse, when she was speaking to police, she looked so innocent and capable of taking his truck and hiding it, leaving him stranded at the airport, taking his clothes and throwing them away, locking him out of the house and keeping his kids from him while threatening to kill him. These moments of interrogation interviews are very important to understand who Lori is. And she's very calculated. She's out to charm you, and it's intended deceit. And that is what people must understand. I would love more than anything for Lori to be this damsel in distress that's been this victim her entire life, that was swooned and manipulated by Chad Daybell. But I really don't believe that's true. Reading the comments on many of the videos on the topic of Lori Vallow and her deceit, it seems that you do not either. More heartbreaking than anything is seeing Colby come to terms with who she is. Going back in the past and trying to put together all of these, what he thought was truths. Now his main goal must be to avoid becoming his mother and making sure that his kids do not experience the life he had. And the first step in that is realizing the truth. Lori's lack of concern for Colby has been very alarming. The lack for Tylee, the lack for JJ, the lack for anyone other than herself and Chad Daybell. And you can bet people within the jailhouse, anyone surrounding her at this time, they're a tool to her, a tool to manipulate and to get her what she wants. The best way to get to Lori is to ignore her. Don't respond. Don't ask her questions. There's no hope. You just let her sit and think. But Lori's mentioned family members that are still in communication with her, which as a mother, it'd probably be hard just to cut off your daughter no matter what. Probably hoping that she'll come to light and reach this enlightened place that I don't think she'll ever reach. The sad part about it is they're giving her the scoop of what's going on the outside, even talking about someone that has been blogging about her every day. Legitimately, you can tell that Lori didn't understand why her story is so meaningful to everyone. She doesn't understand it. It's not a big deal to her. And so that's a really big clue to understanding who she is. You can tell that Kieth Morrison was more than aggravated and didn't really want to hear the lies, but that was his job, to ask her questions and listen. But he did capture some interesting moments that if he hadn't have interviewed, we would have never known. He did a fabulous story for anybody that didn't know this story, combining the timeline while interviewing this Doomsday mother. And it was very interesting that Kieth was able to sit there and allow her to flirt like she was and letting her think that she had the upper hand. He tried to let her think that, but her cockiness just, well, it was a trigger for him, and it made it difficult to sit there and let her down her victims and lie about them. After all, he said that facts don't lie. Speaking of facts, let's talk about what Kieth said that he presented to Lori that she denied. Remember when she and Chad got married on November 5th, just weeks after Tammy Daybell had died? Just before Brandon Boudreaux was shot at? There were some rings that Lori purchased on Amazon on Charles' account. Lori was willing to talk about that.
Yeah.
My husband that I've been married to for 5 years?
Sure. And everybody calls you Lori Vallow. Does that bother you?
It doesn't bother me, but I'm Lori Daybell.
The evidence clearly shows that Lori searched for wedding dresses and rings and then bought a malachite gemstone ring on October 2nd, 2019. The ring was delivered to her 5 days later, October 7th. In journalistic terms, this would be called a gotcha. And you bought the wedding rings?
That is
before.
an untrue statement. You don't know what you're talking about on that one.
It's online. The purchase is there. And then we see the video of those very rings on your fingers and that ceremony on the beach.
Those rings were not initially bought for us. So get your facts straight, Keith, before you start making accusations. See, you don't know.
Who were they bought for?
You don't have any idea because you've heard all these rumors.
You're going to tell me who they were bought for.
Rumor has it.
Who were they bought for, if not you?
Alex and Zulema initially.
Lori's version? After buying the rings and dress for Zulema, Lori and Chad borrowed them.
We used them in our ceremony, and then they were given back to Alex.
We certainly don't see any communications between Lori and Zulema, which we would have seen, saying, hey, I'm shopping for a dress for you, or I found this wonderful wedding ring for you. So that is conspicuously absent.
Former lead detective Ron Ball.
Come on, it's Lori trying to direct the details.
And this is where you have the problem of whether or not she is sane or not. She's always scamming an excuse for everything that seems wrong. There's nothing she does wrong. She will not admit to it. Everything that they come up with or facts they present are lies. It was so hard trying to get this video out here, guys. 2 days of hours and hours of work. I'm going to do a second part. If you guys are interested, make sure that you like and comment to show that you're interested. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe and like. That would be much appreciated. And especially don't forget to share our missing girls, people who have stories going on unanswered, people like Jasmine Robinson. My heart goes out to the families involved with this case who had to watch this. I hope you guys are able to get through this week without it really kind of eating at you. Love you guys, and I'll see you soon.